I loved it. Next up, we've got Bob Cottle at ringside, and he says, "We have a huge crowd here in Charlotte." Of course, they're in Greensboro. The new
Yep.
Leave It to Beaver stars Eddie Haskell, and right now we'd like for all you folks to meet Eddie Haskell. And so then we see the Eddie Haskell character running into Jim Cornette at ringside, and he says, "Hey, listen, that's a fine looking racket you have there, Mr. Cornette." This is all dictated by TBS. I guess this is in exchange for giving you guys primetime live stuff, huh?
Well, it's just all a part of the
Promotion.
part of the deal, promotion. You know, they were running reruns of Leave It to Beaver, and they probably spent some money on it, and that was one way to create awareness for that. And you know, I was really sad that he didn't say his best line, "G Ward,
Yeah.
you're a little rough on the beaver last night."
I love you for that.
So, but maybe the most interesting thing about Eddie Haskell would have been a sit down ad lib with Cornette. That might have been funnier than hell. But in any event, Bob made a mistake. I could never get more angry. I could get angry or frustrated at Bob Cottle than I could, my own mom. He's that good a man. And look, I make mistakes all the time. It gets pointed out, on Wednesday nights or Thursday morning that I forgot something. I should be fired. I don't have respect. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So I understand that aspect, and I don't care. I can't fix what's already there. You just try to get better, and ignore the bullshit.
If we can't extend a little bit of latitude and grace to Bob Cottle and Jim Ross,
Come on.
What are we doing?
Well, Bob Cottle for sure, not me necessarily.
No,
fucking sure for Bob. God damn, man, what a good guy.
Well, I just know. Well, I think on one of the Dynamites, you out of habit when you ended the show. This is very early on. You said, "We'll see you Monday, folks," or something like that.
I did.
Got ate up on Twitter, and it's like, guys, he said we'll see you on Monday for 30 fucking years. Give him a break. Jesus. Yeah. But my thing is, after all the, decades of great shit, like if there's just one misquote, it's like the end of the world. It's like, guys, come on. Is that really why we want Jay here to be on point, perfect every single time, or he's got to go? Cause you'll never be happy. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you. And it bothered me a lot at the beginning. It did. Cause I thought, well, I deserve better than this. But then I realized, well, you're only as good as your last show, JR. Maybe those folks that are criticizing you thought your last show wasn't your best work. So, but nobody takes into consideration new truck, new people, new crew, 3-man booth, new talent. We're new, man. We're new there. So we're going to make some mistakes like that. And I applaud that because we're going to try to be entertaining and a different broadcast team than you're used to hearing on regular weekly wrestling shows. We really are. And that's important to me for us to have some entertainment content in these things, because you can't make every match on any show a Briscoe and Funk classic. Ain't going to happen, kids. It's not going to happen. And then when you get matches where you have an extraordinary amount of offense, which is a code word for a whole lot of high spots, it's very hard to get your audience to invest in indiscriminate, single-standing high spots. Where is the story? What is the common denominator of this presentation? And so we're all learning to adjust to those terms, so to speak. So it's crazy, but poor old Bob, I'm sure he didn't have a clue what he said. And I don't remember, until I read this, our notes, I forgot all about it. It wasn't that big a deal.
It's not a big deal. It's fucking Bob Cottle. And he's joined after this by Gary Hart and Al Perez. They're going to call out Dusty Rhodes. And then they do something that is kind of sweet. They have Francis Crockett announce the top 10 seeds for the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup. I thought it was cool to see Francis Crockett out here. Again, the Crockett family has been such a big part of wrestling for so long, and for her to be here to sort of announce the seeds for her dad's Memorial Cup. And we just hold that Crockett Cup in such high esteem now. It was pretty cool to see Francis out here.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good production element, without sounding crass. I'm not meaning to be crass, but, yeah, it was good. The legacy of the Crockett family, was important to, share. And Frances was a key member of that whole thing. She was very involved in the promotion, as a young lady. So I thought that was a cool piece of business there. And what she did was manageable. And man, I looked at this, the seeds on this thing. Pretty good group of talent, Conrad. Pretty good group.
Let's keep it going. Let's get to the next match. This is a big one. Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors are in a barbed wire match with the Warlord, Barbarian, and Ivan Koloff. They only get 3 minutes and 39 seconds here. The baby faces prevail. Meltzer wrote, Dusty with face paint, wearing a black t-shirt, looks like a dead ringer for Dump Matsumoto, except Dump is better looking. Ivan juiced in 20 seconds and Dusty in 90 seconds. I hate barbed wire matches because the wire is a tremendous detriment to the match because everyone becomes cautious and mainly stays in the middle of the ring. The finish saw Animal pin Warlord after a slam and then a cover, and Barbarian came off the top rope with a headbutt on Animal, who moved and hit his partner. Ivan took his chain and knocked Dusty or Animal's mask off after they had a nice brawl, and 1 star. So not the best, but a barbed wire match was delivered on TV. What'd you think?
Bad booking. Didn't need it. You want 3 minutes and 39 seconds of a match to start with. And then you got one that's so gimmicky. You can't take bumps. You can't do your normal business. It's like we had all this extemporaneous bullshit in our first match. We talked about that. All these gadgets and angles and people involved and getting everybody on the scene, getting everybody booked, getting everybody some TV time. Watered down. And then we come back with a barbed wire match. And I don't know why we had a barbed wire. Why do we need a barbed wire match with, look what you got booked. Dusty and the Road Warriors together, for God's sakes. Is that not good enough? Over 30 years ago, it's sure as hell good enough for me. And then they do a nice little angle afterwards, which is a whole lot better, quite frankly, than anything than the match, I thought. But nonetheless, I didn't like I liked the Dump Matsumoto reference. She was one of my favorite heels back in the day. But I don't know why we needed that, but it happened. And so I would concur with Meltzer, 1 star out of respect for the talents. That's it.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what AdFreeShows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-Free Shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that AdFreeShows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. AdFreeShows.com.